Oh, about your dad?
Yeah.
Okay. How your dad doing, Ivan?
He doing good.
Okay.
I have proven that I always let him know when you ask about him.
Yeah. He was, when I first got in the fraternity, he was district director for the state of Alabama. So I've been knowing of Ivan Williams since 1985.
Yeah.
So
now, as I told you, every podcast starts with a joke, and you're on.
all right, Ivan, we'll do a little simple knock joke. Knock.
Who's there?
A door.
A door who?
A door's between us, so please open up. I told you it was corny.
That was so corny. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. Well done, sir. Well done. Now, you met my dad in 1985.
Correct.
Or heard of my father in 85, but that would put you at approximately 19, 20 years old. So let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
And let's talk about all the things that brought that young man to the University of Alabama to pledge Alpha. Tell me about Mama and them, what church you went to, were you in the band or running back? Tell us about Darryl Jones.
Well, first off, born in 1963 in Titusville. So I'm from the south side, Birmingham and Titusville. Grew up on Kappa Street, Kappa Avenue to be exact, right down from Memorial Park. In 1970, my family moved from Titusville to West End. So moved to West End in 1970, been a part of the Jackson Elementary School, West End High School, class 81.
Okay.
But more significantly, what led me to the University of Alabama, it really starts back summer of 1969. When I was 6 years old, I saw Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin step on the face of the moon and said, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." So I wanted to be an astronaut, which for a little black kid in Birmingham, Alabama, in 1969, you tell somebody you want to be an astronaut, first thing they tell you, you can't do that. And they would dampen my spirit, but I still wanted to be an astronaut. So over the years, I would ask, how can I get to be an astronaut? They said, well, most of the astronauts are fighter pilots. So I wanted to be a fighter pilot so I could get to be an astronaut. And as I got a little older, how can I get to be a fighter pilot? Well, most of these fighter pilots were engineers. So I said, I need to go to school to be an engineer so I can go to the military to be a fighter pilot so I can be an astronaut. So science and technology, even before we called it STEM, was something that was put into me because I wanted to be an engineer so I can go to the military, fly jets, and be an astronaut. So that's what led me to look at engineering. What led me to the University of Alabama was the fact, as we went to different college campuses to check out the school, now at that time I was interested in chemical engineering. So the schools in the state that had chemical engineering, there's only about 4 or 5 schools in the state that had chemical engineering. And the University of Alabama was one of them. Went on campus tours, fell in love with the campus, and also knew, based on what happened the year I was born in 1963, when Wallace stood in front of the door and said, you know, segregation now, segregation forever, that it took my generation to say, hey, somebody else opened the doors for us, and my generation, we want to keep the doors open. So I want to go there because other people said we shouldn't be there. So, and they have a great chemical engineering program at the University of Alabama. In the midst of all of that, I made too many bad decisions, too many mistakes. I didn't finish at the University of Alabama, came back to Birmingham, worked a bunch of different jobs, eventually started working at the Birmingham Waterworks. And under the Waterworks tuition reimbursement program, I went back to school at UAB and studied mechanical engineering and graduated with a mechanical engineering degree. Now, so what that means is I roll Tide and I go Blazers. So I push for those 2 programs. So I'm a chemical engineer in a lot of ways and a mechanical engineer in a lot of ways. So that's kind of what led me there, and that's how I got here.
That is the neatest way to tell a story backwards. That was cool. But I want you to dig in on, or dig down a little farther. What student took you to the University of Alabama? Meaning, what high school did you go to, and where did you matriculate before then? And I also want to know, how many siblings did you have, and tell us a little bit more about younger you.
Well, I'm the youngest of four. I had two older brothers and an older sister. Like I said, I was born in 1963. Same year, I Have a Dream speech and all of those things happened. Most of my elementary school time was at Jackson Elementary, Stonewall, Jackson. And from there, moved to West End High School. Class of 81, go Lions. So,
what church?
Grew up Friendship Baptist Church.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, it was on UAB campus, what it is now. The intramural field is where the church used to stand, right there on 12th Street.
Okay.
So I was baptized the same summer of '69 that I wanted to be an astronaut. So, and then Friendship moved to West End, and it's around the corner from New Hope Baptist Church. So Friendship Baptist Church, sang in the choir, did all the youth stuff in church. So did those things before I went off to college, as well as when I came back. Just like most of the kids in the neighborhood at the time, got old enough to get a job. I started working at a restaurant, washing dishes and doing that kind of stuff. Ran track in high school. I was also part of ROTC in high school. So a lot of my leadership concepts that I talk about to this day, I've learned in the ROTC program. For example, Sergeant Brown taught us to look, if you don't do anything else but two things, accomplish the mission and look out for the welfare of your people. So those are the two things I kind of focus in on a lot. So like I said, I ran track, did that. I probably lost more races than I won, but I did win a few. So I ran the intermediate hurdles, and I ran a third leg in the 4x400 relay. So thought I probably was city fast, but I was not collegiate fast. I tried out for the track team in Alabama and realized that I could not run with those guys. But that was fine. As long as I did my personal best, that was my standard of excellence. So those are the kind of things and I love track and field to this day. I follow the Olympics. It's always something big. I, gone to Olympic trials to see athletes compete because it was cheaper to do that than go to the actual Olympics. So, but those are the things that I've done, and that kind of background for me.
I don't know if you knew this, but my first real chance in what we dub now the governmental relations arena was given to me by Charlie Waldrop.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlie doggone taught me everything I know. My first opportunity was there, but my first assignment was right here at the Waterworks Board. And that's where I got to know you. That's where I got to know the quote unquote Waterworks as an organization, as an entity. And that built my passion, that learning curve, everything that I went through that taught me about the importance of water and the Waterworks Board to the city of Birmingham. I learned to be passionate about it. And so I'm just really tickled pink that I started here at the Waterworks I'm back here talking to you at the waterworks. You took me under your wing at that time and taught me a lot. And now you're back as the interim general manager. Now, I say this jokingly. Everybody is happy about that but you.
That's probably true. That's probably true.
But I want to say this. It's a new day in the waterworks. It's a new day in Birmingham. I just 100% appreciate the opportunity to sit down, talk to you, introduce you to some, and present to others. Tell me, tell us what is next for the Birmingham Waterworks Board under your leadership.
Well, before I say that, let me go on record to say I'm very appreciative for this opportunity. I know how big of an opportunity this is. I know how big of a job it is. So when I was asked to step in for an interim timeline, I knew what it took. You got to remember, I had been retired for over 5.5 years. I had done some consulting work outside of this city, not a whole lot, not a heavy amount of work, but I was doing enough as what I would like to do. I enjoy being retired. I was a good retiree. It was the only job I ever wanted. So asking to come back into this arena, that was a heavy ask. And it's a lot of work involved with that. So that's not something you wake up after 31 years of being at the company, leave for 5.5 years and say, hey, let me wake up one day and go around and jump back on this bull and see if I can ride it. That was not in my mindset. I was asked by the board to step in a situation. I love the Birmingham Waterworks. The employees here are waterworks professionals, take pride in what we do. We believe everything we do with the highest intention, sincere effort, intelligent direction, and skillful execution. That's how we do our quality, and that's what we believe in. So my job here as the interim general manager is to keep that mission going. We do have some vision and missions of the company. One of the things I did when I first came back was our mission success program that I want to push. And to do that, you got to have a plan. And our current plan, we're going to continue to provide high quality water. That is first and foremost. Now, it's not free. It's got to be fair and at a reasonable price. We're going to make sure we do those things. And we want to try to deliver this water 100% of the time. All customers really want is the water to come out their tap clean, and when they turn the faucet, they want water to come out. It sounds simple, but it's very complicated. But that's what the waterworks professionals do. And we're going to continue to do those things. The cost of running the utility is expensive, just like the cost of running a home or household. Prices go up for everybody, whether it's in the power that we use, the chemicals that we use, the labor. We have to pay our employees as well. So, but everything we touch comes with a price, and we try to be very efficient with that. As a matter of fact, a water utility the size of Birmingham Waterworks is typically a third or twice this size as far as employees. So we've always been a very lean organization. We always demanded a lot from our employees, and we run all of our equipment and maximize all of our resources. So those are the things that we've always done, and that was what was inbred in me over the 31 years of being here the first time, and that's what I want to continue to push with this new generation of waterworks professionals. So everything we do is focused on providing quality water to our customers at a reasonable, fair price 100% of the time. So the mission doesn't change. The personnel may be different, the time may be different, but at the end of the day, customers still want clean, wholesome water to drink and consume. We're the only utility that you rub our product on your bodies, you cook with it, you drink it, you do everything else, you mix stuff with it. So, and it has to be right 100% of the time. We cannot have a 98% good water leave out the tap. That's not good enough. So with rules and regulations that are upon us, it's very challenging to meet that, but that's why we're here. That's why we're waterworks professionals. So my goal is to make sure our employees understand that, our customers understand that, and that we all live in this environment. We produce the water, but at the same time we use it. So we're customers of this water as well. And everyone here is committed to making sure it's correct and making sure it's right. So that's what we want to do.
Let me ask you about two things. I would love for you to address a little bit about the rates. You know, we're at the you're talking about that right now, as a matter of fact. So there needs to be an understanding that the rates are going to have to change. But can you explain timelines and the amounts so that people can kind of pace it and know what to expect every 2, 3, 4, 5 years? And then secondly, as far as the automated billing is concerned, you know, people have been concerned about bill being one thing one month, completely different another month, and there be no changes. So if you could just tell us your thoughts on those two issues.
All right, let's talk rates for a minute. Last year it was presented with a projected rate increase for 2025 to be about a 5.8% rate increase. We sharpened our pencil a little bit and got that rate increase down to a 4.9% rate increase that's proposed and that we're going to present to the public next week and present to our board. In that rate increase, like I said, everything that we touch and use, just like anybody's home, our power has gone up almost $1 million. Our chemicals have gone up several $100,000. Everything we touch and use and consume to produce this water has gone up, as well as our labor cost. So we hadn't added any new employees, but we're going to work with the staff we have to maximize the amount of effort we put out. So when you look at the rate structure, if you use 6 consumption units, and what a consumption unit is 748 gallons. That's a billing unit. A person that used 6 consumption units, that's a lot of water. That's almost 4,000 gallons of water in a month. That person's bill would go up $2.14. Now, like at my home, my average bill is 3 to 4 units. So I wouldn't see a full $2.14 rate increase, but that's just because it's just 2 people in my home. But for those, so there's going to be some rate increases, and the way we structured the rate increase, we have 3 different blocks. From 0 to 3 is going to be a certain dollar amount. That's the smaller cost per volume. Then from 3 to 12, a little bit more. You're going to pay a little bit more if you're in that category. And then from anything above 12, you'll pay a little bit more for those users. For the higher users, they're going to pay a little bit more for that water. The average customer is 6 or less. So it's going to be a small increase for them, but no one wants to hear increase. Everybody wants things to be lower or not to go up. There's no way for that to happen. The cost for us goes up to be able to produce this quality water, and we're going to have to share that with our customers. You mentioned about automatic meters. We do have a program. We call it AMI, Automatic Meter Infrastructure, that's designed to automate these readings that we've been doing manually. It's going to take a few years to get it completely done, but in 2025, we budgeted about $10 million to start that process of putting in those type meters. We have great meters. Don't think we don't. The same meters that we use today is used all over the world, not just in the U.S., but all over the world. So this technology from a water meter standpoint is very solid. It's not new. It's good equipment. The only thing that's different is that the register on the top now can be able to transmit the signal on how much water is passed through it versus manually reading it. So the automatic the meter reading piece is going to be us to get the readings electronically without having to physically pull the lid and get the reading. So some of the issues we've had with our billing, it's kind of a byproduct that happened when COVID hit. We had some staffing challenges to work with. And then after COVID, we had some challenges with getting vehicles because of the chip shortage that had happened. So we needed more vehicles to get our personnel out there. So we kind of ran into another snag there. And so the challenge we have with some of these billing issues now are customers that were in a default status. We've turned them off, but we hadn't had a chance to pull the meter. And now that we're getting our efficiency back in place, we're going back now. We're going to those customers are going to have to pay for that water that they've used. So every now and then you're going to hear a customer complain about a large bill. Those are the ones who were taken out of our system for non-payment. We did not bill them for a period of time because they was out of our system for non-payment. And now that we circle back around, we got enough personnel to go back and work on this backlog. Now we're catching those, and those customers, they agree, and they're working out a payment arrangement, and they're working to get caught up on their past charges as well as their current charges. So those are some of the things that's happening. But the automatic meter reading component is something that we're going to do. We're going to have the Jefferson County is going to support us in that as well. It's going to make life easier for everyone, but we have over 200,000 meters in the system. That's going to take us a period of time to get them all changed out. So that's going to be going on for the next 3 to 4 years.
When we talked about doing this podcast, it was outside of what quote unquote the waterworks does. And I just want to thank you for committing to communicating directly. And one, want to ask, is there anything else you want to share while the mic is open? And then two, in closing, let me know if you got any shout outs.
Don't know if I have any shout outs, but for certain, I just want people to understand that Birmingham Waterworks is a large water utility. Probably in the top 200 in the country as far as size. We do it with a very small amount of employees, less than 700 employees that diligently work for this community. We live in it, we use this product, we're committed to it. So I said it earlier, everything we do with the highest of intention, sincere effort, intelligent direction, and skillful execution. We believe in the quality of this water, and we're going to do everything we can to protect it. One of the things I didn't talk about, we did get some money from the federal government based on Terry Sewell came to us this summer and presented us with an opportunity to get some of the WIFIA money. So we're going to use that money to help strengthen our Lake Purdy Dam. The dam was built over 100 years ago, and we've done repairs to it over the years. But based on storms that we're seeing is happening, we want to strengthen that dam. That project is going to be about $86 million. So that's also going to lead to part of the rate increase. Projects like that to keep this infrastructure going. Most people don't realize that a utility this size that started in 1872, it's a lot of aging infrastructure. The cost of all the utilities, power, gas, water, it doesn't matter, it's infrastructure. We're replacing between 15 and 20 miles of pipeline a year. We have tanks that need to be rehabbed and conditioned and repainted. We got over 15,000 fire hydrants in this system that we want to make sure that there's water available for emergency response like a fire. Now, the reason why I mentioned that, I heard an apartment caught fire last night, and you want to make sure that water's there. And so all that, what it takes to maintain a utility, to maintain an aging infrastructure, the thing that's going to be coming up soon is about the new regs about lead and copper. We do have some customers that may have lead service lines. We have a plan to replace those. But the way we treat our water, we make it non-corrosive so that we make sure that that lead doesn't leach from the pipe into the water. So we test it on a monthly basis to make sure that our water quality is meeting and exceeding EPA's regulations. So the Birmingham Waterworks is committed. Quality in everything that we do, and service is everything we do as well. So all I can say is this. I'm proud to be a part of the Birmingham Waterworks. I know we're a committed team of professionals committed to do what we can for this community.